As we grid up for race number 2, this is the reverse grid race. Chris Walton, the winner of race 1, gets the honour of drawing the reverse grid number. And would you believe it, he's picked 19th. Philip Woodbury now gets promoted to the pole position alongside Danny Bazadzik from Melbourne. So Woodbury, one of our rookies, and a chance to go off the front row.
19th, isn't that, that'd just be painful, wouldn't it? You pull out the number and away you go. You're all the way down to the middle of the field. And Chris Walton's certainly got his work cut out for him in this one. George
Hollywood Elliott, Rick Gill, one of the local boys back here, and Reece McNally. Keep an eye out for Reece McNally and also George Medicki, a couple of the very experienced guys off the front. But where's Woodbury? He's pulled over on the formation lap. Phil Woodbury, the pole setter, is gone. We're looking for the orange Kubota ute, and it's not on the start line, so drama already. And Woodbury's a no-show. Bazadzik will lead him down into turn 1 with Wakefield on the outside. Martram in the Auto 1 ute's going to go the long way. Riding on board with the Thirsty Camel ute, this is Craig Dontis up through the S's. Martram and Dixon, very tight. Hard to go side-by-side through there.
That's what I love about this circuit. There's a lot of side-by-side action. As you come out of turn 1, you can run up to 2 and 3, side-by-side, up over the top of the hill, and you can see this sort of stuff continuing on the first lap. But then it's a matter of trying to position yourself. Look after the tyres, because it's so hard on tyres here in Perth.
Tight first lap. Big move up the inside and a big lock-up as well. Out of the way, and that is Jesse Dixon going up the inside of Jero McLeod. And Chris Walton trying to get this charge going.
Just going to say, Chris is already making the move, so he really wants to push himself right to the front of this. 19th on the grid, it's going to be hard work, and these cars are hard to pass in. As soon as you wave your foot over the brake pedal, it's easy to lock them. But we'll look for a move on the lead already.
Oh, that was Sam Barry having a look up the inside for the lead. And I'll tell you what, he might have got the run down the front straight, much like what we saw in between the two leaders fighting in race number 1. As we go on board the IXL car, this is Jero Gray, and who raced in New Zealand recently. As we see a Kiwi take the lead. Welcome to the Aussie Ute, Sam Barry, a new leader.
Yeah, obviously it's a big change when he's come to a circuit. He's never been here before. He's now found himself leading the race. The pressure's on him now, but this racing is fantastic in the Utes. I love the way these things slide up around the top of the hill. The rear tyres starting to go. Look at that, they're already sliding, and we're only on lap 2.
We should probably tell Sam that he's only got 6 tyres to play with for the weekend, as Jesse Dixon and the Heyman Reese ute pushing out, just making the most of the exit curbs through turn 5. We plunge down into the bowl.
Down the inside, you can see a bit of lock brake action. You can see these guys jostling for position, side by side. The run out of 6. That puts him actually in a good position for the braking zone down into, that's Jeremy Gray there, puts him in a good position for the braking zone down to turn 7.
Yeah, that was Nathan Pretty up the inside, and it looked like Elliot Barber might also be able to get a bit of a ride with that one as well. Under brakes we go, and that is in 3rd position, Wayne Wakefield.
Yeah, he's pushing pretty hard. He's more contact.
Jero Gray goes the long way at turn 7 around the exit curb, and Elliot Barber is going to look up the inside. And Wakefield looks like he's got the speed to get to the front here. He's actually got his teammate leading in Barry right now. In the 3rd car, Chris Walton, he's trying to get through this field from starting 19th. And Jero Gray's going to be stuck on the outside here, manages to get back in line. You want to make sure that you sort that out very quickly, because those curbs come up very quickly up to the S's.
You've got to be really patient when you're driving these cars, because they're on that Yokohama tyre. That's a grooved type slick racing tyre. But and Jesse Dixon there getting close. He's going to make that move down the inside. He's looking very sharp in this one, actually, I've got to say. But you've got to be really smooth with these cars. You're trying to overload the steering, you're trying to overload the brakes, and you're offline straight away, and there you go, you lose a spot, especially in this sort of racing.
Wow, Jesse Dixon up to 3rd. He started off about the 4th or 5th row, so he's passing cars comfortably. And more going on. Down the hill we go. Up the inside. And this is going to leave Wakefield on the outside. One of the local guys making that move stick. Good to see Clint Harvey up inside the top 5 in a ute race. Used to seeing him race plenty of different things here at Barbagallo as they jostle for position down this front straight. A fair bit of weaving going on.
Weaving left and right. Putting pressure on the driving standards observer, I can assure you. He's up in the control tower there pulling his hair out. But, yeah, Marjoram, he's looking for a way through as well. When you get out of this corner here, it's all about smooth. You've got to get on that throttle, then you've got to go through that gear change nice and smooth. Up over the crest of the hill, the car becomes light as you then try and squeeze the brake up the hill.
Coincidentally, it's Grant Johnson who's got the tough call this weekend. You know all about being a DSO.
Oh, I feel sorry for Grant Johnson up there at the moment with all the action that's been going on with these guys. And you can see they're still using all the road and the bits on the outside of it. So the pressure's on, especially in these reverse grid races. You've got to find a way through. You've got to find a way through cleanly. Look after your car, look after your tyres. and put yourself in position to gather as much points you can for that race 3. But it's Jesse Dixon who's really doing a good job here. He's now pushing to get himself up into 2nd place, and he's after Sam Barry out in the lead.
What a drive. From 8th on the grid, he takes 2nd and relegates Danny Bazadzik back to 3rd. He's still doing a very good job at the moment. From Melbourne, Danny Bazadzik, the Just Car Insurance Ute. Another guy from Melbourne, that's Elliot Barber, trying to slot into the traffic. On board with Jero Gray, recently raced at Pukekohe, alongside Chris Walton and Sam Barry. So 3 guys making the trip back to WA after racing over in New Zealand. It's Ben Dunn on the outside, qualified 11th. He's got Kim Jane up the inside. That was very, very close. And here comes Cedars, the winner of this event last year. Haven't seen too much of him so far this weekend. Championship leader coming into this round. Big lock-up for Gray. Did a good job to avoid running into the championship leader. Nervous moments. Craig Dontis now, 2nd in the points coming into this weekend. Doing a great job, but he has got Nathan Pretty up behind him. 25 years experience racing Holdens, Nathan Pretty. As Marjoram lights it up. Now, these guys were banging panels in Adelaide, so there's a bit of feeling here. That's a brand new ute on the outside for Jerry McLeod. And it was banged up in transit over here on the Nullarbor. Just about every single panel and windscreen got a bit of a dent in it. But thankfully, they've got that thing fixed up. And up the inside goes Marjoram, doing a double degree at the University of WA. Exams will be on the calendar for him by the time he gets up to Darwin for the next round. And have a look at this battle going on in the background.
Just as Dontis there, he's got to run. It's Jesse Dixon actually taking the lead now from Sam Barry. So see if Sam Barry can come back at him, but Jesse Dixon here is looking fast at the moment. Got the headlights on, he's focused. He really wants to win his first ute race.
So Dixon to the lead as we head off to an ad break. The Australian V8 Ute Series, protected by Hawkeye. We're racing around Barbagallo Raceway. And it's round number 2, race number 2. For the Utes, as we go winding our way through turns 4 and 5, there's Roll Harris, number 1, and the pole sitter this weekend. Behind him, Andrew Fisher in the Jesus car. Here's one for you, Bugs. New paint that they put on those rims as the lockups happen down at the bottom.
Lockups continue.
A huge lockup, as a matter of fact.
We've gone beach.
And that's Bazadzik. No, he was doing so well inside the top 3.
He's actually done a good job to get that out of there. Once you get into that soft sand, if you can keep the car straight, you can make the hard sand on the outside, but he's done a good job to get out of there. But look at Jesse Dixon. He's starting to pull a gap on Sam Barry. There's Chris Walton. He's actually moved up through the field and done a great job.
He's flying. He's up inside that top 10 comfortably. I was going to say about the Jesus Racing Ute, new paint on the rims, and it started to melt and actually loosened off every single wheel nut on every single wheel in race 1. Sent this almighty shudder going through the car. That's an unusual one.
Yeah, no, it's, when they repaint those rims, you've got to make sure that you take the little bit out where the wheel nut sits on there so that it doesn't actually do that. I've seen that happen many a time before. But the car looks great, doesn't it? Andrew Fisher in the Jesus Racing car.
Got the plain rims on now. A smart move. So Dixon with a very comfortable lead right now. And Sam Barry, 6th in the New Zealand V8 Ute Series points, doing a good job so far. Hanging inside that top 2. A couple of West Aussies about to go at it here.
As you come across the top of the hill there, the car gets all light. And you can see these guys, they run right out to the edge of the track. Trying to get a bit of turn in, Larier sliding. All trying to get on the power, and he's actually used all of it and some.
So there goes Harvey. He goes off at the exit to turn 6, and that's more than just tyres going off.
I was going to say, maybe he had a problem there, because as the car turned in, the thing stepped out in the rear, so it looks like maybe he had a flat tyre, or the rear wheel might be loose or something, but yeah, he certainly left the racetrack.
Have a look at Chris Walton go, winner of race 1. First time he'd won a race here since 2012. Back in his rookie year when he was the rookie of the year. More lockups going. That's down in turn 1 this time, and up the inside goes Walton on Kim Jane.
He's got a bit of damage on the back there too as well, Chris, so he's not afraid of mixing it. Chris Walton, he races go-karts in the off weekends as well, so he's the Australian go-karting champion, done that a couple of times, and he's a very fast peddler in these utes, I can assure you. Elliot Barber in the Just Cars Insurance Holden ute over the top of the hill. You can hear those engine revs pick up, and there's where those guys just slide off the edge of the track. Elliot Barber now trying to hold Chris Walton out, but no, Chris is coming through.
Wow, so Barber went defensive down the right-hand side, and it wasn't enough. Walton still found a gap through, riding on board with Barbs right now. Can he get the run out of 6 and up the hill? Doesn't look to be the case. Recently did a bit of driving at Sepang, actually, doing some driver days over there with Slick Miedeke. And that's another spot now for Chris Killer Walton, who's doing a killer job. Driven from 19th in the grid right now. He's absolutely flying.
I was going to say, Kim
10.
Jane wants part of this argument as well. You can see Kim Jane looking for a run down the inside, but Barber has covered that one. So Kim Jane's going to have to try and go around the outside. He's not going to do it in the in turn one.
There's Cedars, championship leader, but for how much longer? He's got all-spec aluminium on board once again. Something that we saw from them back in 2009 when he had the wildcard V8 Supercar entry at the Bathurst 1000 as Barber lets it hang loose.
Just going to say, look at the gap that Walton's pulled on these two straight away, and you can tell that Walton's car's nice and clean. These ones sliding around all over the place. Up over the top of the hill again as the rear steps out. And Barber's trying to get the power down, trying to keep the car clean. But, yeah, Chris Walton, he's the fastest guy out there at the moment.
Battle on down at Kolb, and there goes Cedars up the inside of Jane. Those two guys have both won the first race here at Barbagallo in recent years, until today when Walton did it. Here we go. They're going to argue about this the whole way down the hill. Heavy braking down here. It's an uphill approach, so you can brake even later, but these things 1.5 tonnes or 1.8 tonnes, as a matter of fact, they're so hard to pull up.
There's nothing in it, is there? Ford versus Holden. Now, Jane's going to come back on the inside, see if he can get a run down the first corner, but it looks like Cedars going to get the job done. But there's nothing in it. Oh, no, Barry.
He's thrown it away down at turn one. Big lock-up in the mini-quip ute, and he's gone firing off. Did a good job to get it back on the racetrack. Should rejoin maybe in about 8th position, but that's so disappointing. He was inside the top 3, doing such a good job.
That'll give him a couple of 50-cent pieces on the front tyres as well, so that'll make the rest of the race uncomfortable. Now there's Jane. He's going to try and keep that pressure on Cedars and try and find a way back through. Those two cars, the Ford and Holden, down, drag race over the top of the hill. And as you can see here, the Falcon versus Commodore, there's nothing in it. The acceleration, the handling, the braking, it's so close. And Walton, he locks one up. He's got great control of the brake pedal because he's got to get out of that so quickly, not to rip a hole in a tyre.
Chance for Dontas to maybe sneak back up the inside. Wander on board.
Was there an overlap? No, there wasn't. So Dontas looking to the left, the right. Can he get back? Past Walton. Which way will he go? Down the outside? I don't think he's going to get that done down there, that's for sure.
Recently spent some time over in California at the Grand Prix of Long Beach for the IndyCars. Hanging out with Robbie Gordon, of all people, trying to learn a few more tips about how to set up next year's Clipsal 500, one of the greatest street circuit races in the world on the streets of Long Beach. There's the all-purpose pest controls car up the inside, just driving defensively. It's the reigning champ, Royal Harris. He's finished on the podium here 3 times in WA, also has 3 race wins. Currently protecting that racing line as we go off to an ad break. Jesse Dixon is your race leader. Can he hold on? We'll find out after this. Welcome back to Perth, Barbagallo Raceways, where we're at. This is the V8 Ute Series, protected by Hawkeye. A handful of laps remain in this, the second race, the reverse grid. We flipped the top 19, and the man who started out of 19th position is currently up inside the top 10. He's in 6th. There he is, Chris Walton. 7.9 seconds off our race leader, Jesse Dixon, who's shooting for his first ever win in the V8 Ute Series. Battle pack right. Here's a good one.
Oh, no!
I thought we were going to have a Scott Pye moment. My heart just sunk. I thought Royal Harris was heading for the grass. That was close.
Tends to happen a lot here at this circuit. You get a bit of an over and under move. So what happens is the outside car manages to get down the inside, and then we have that overlap going down the straight, which sometimes we've seen go very pear-shaped. But the boys have been quite clean and tidy. They managed to get away with it.
Fisher is looking extremely racy behind the current and defending champion in the V8 Ute Series, Royal Harris. Up we go, we're riding on board with Elliot Barber. These are the S's, take a little bit of curb.
It's always fun when you're trying to watch out the windscreen, what's going on, where to pass the car, and then you look in the mirror and there's one trying to pass you and there's one trying to pass him, and then it's all going on all over the place. So that's what we love about ute racing, and they don't mind mixing it up. They don't mind rubbing the panels, and there's Chris Walton down the inside. He is plucking them off all over the place. He is getting up into the top 6 now, and he's doing a great job.
He just outbraked Nathan Pretty. That's not easy. In the CQ group, Commodore, he just put him back another spot. A little bit of a dink in the left rear of that Renko car, but
a little.
It's a little bit out of shape, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down. What a drive. This is one of the best reverse grid races we've seen. We saw Royal Harris win the reverse grid race recently. Oh, Barry!
That's that lock up earlier. It's very easy to catch it again, especially in hard under brakes. And you can see Barber there. He's protecting. He's trying to cover that line. That battle is going to continue.
Sam Barry's done a good job to try and make up for some lost time here. after that big moment that he had down in turn 1. But the mini-quip Ute's going to get relegated back a few spots. Also with Sinopec this weekend offering some support. Sinopec also on board with Jeremy McLeod. Oh, he's about to learn a lesson about these curbs.
You see Sam Barry's got no driver's mirror there. It's pointing to the sky, so that makes it very hard to see what's going on behind you. But he's just going to try and survive this one and stay out of trouble from here on in. He's got flat-spotted front tyres, and he's got the pressure coming on from behind, that's for sure.
Was leading this race at one point as Walton gets another one. That's Gerald McLeod. He's gone up the inside, so Jared goes back another spot, and now we call Maverick. Now he's lining up the Auto 1 Ute. And that's Adam Marjoram in front of him. Marjoram's dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Papa Marjoram. From Auto 1.
McLeod, he's going to come back at Walton. He wants to have a bit of a crack at it. Down the inside. Oh, that's going to be close. And he's got away with it. So Chris Walton has hung on to that position, and now he's focused. He wants to be in the top 3, which is a great result considering he's come off 19th on the grid.
What a drive this has been, as this is still going on in the background. Oh, Fisher has got the move made on Harris, but Harris wants to get it straight back, a lot like he did in race number 1. Down, heavy under brakes we go, with also Hansford coming along for the battle as well. He's made the switch back to a Ford this weekend, raced to Holden for round number 1 of the championship on the streets of Adelaide. Now he's back in the blue oval and part of the very strong Ford battle that's going on in front of him. As also Slick Medicki off the back of the grids managed to get his way up to 15th at the moment. Not a bad drive at all from Slick.
We've got a battle going on for the lead. We've got a battle going on for 6th place. We've got a battle going on for 16th place. And they're all fighting like it's the world title. It's unbelievable.
Might only be limited points in the reverse grid race, but you wouldn't know about it watching the way that these guys are racing right now. This has been a cracking reverse grid race in the Utes. Only a couple laps left for your leader, Jesse Dixon. He has a comfortable lead. He can now try and save those tyres. No tyre conservation going back here, Jace.
No, we're in those last couple of laps now where you've done the hard work, you got the pressures right early in the race, and now it's a matter of just holding on. And it's there's Walton. He's up the inside again, so he's now in the top 3. And what a great drive! He's come off 19th on the grid, and you can see Marjoram there. He just wants to give a bit of a tap, let him know that yeah, thanks a lot, mate. You're through. You beat me to the top 3.
Disappointing for Marjoram, but he's still on for a personal best if he can bring it home in 4th. That is not a bad effort at all on home soil. But this drive from Walton, it's been inspired. 19th, up to 30, might not be done yet. He's got his teammate in front of him, Wayne Wakefield, who started last for the weekend, managed to make the invert after having a lower control arm issue. Wasn't quite connected up properly.
So strong under brakes. You can see Chris Walton, he's already pulled that car length and a half, and he is going to have a look at trying to get up in the top 2, which would be an awesome effort.
Down the bottom of the hill will be the spot to make it stick. Has he got the speed? We've seen some very late dive bomb moves. Not going to be close enough this time.
Not close enough now. It's either going to go 2 ways. Is it teammates out there together, they want to beat each other, or they're going to help each other. We're not sure which way it's going to go, particularly with these two guys. They're great races, they're hard races. But Chris Walton, he's having a look up the inside. Wayne's protecting it. We're getting down to the final lap, so can Chris get through on Wayne? Oh, Wayne's done a great job there of protecting that one. Last lap, this will be it. It'll be on.
Bit of help from Wahoo Beer, which is coincidental.
Oh, side by side. Oh, no.
Oh, that was not the place to be doing it. He's got the patience. He's got 2 more corners to do it. He didn't need to do it at the S's, and he's still going to have the door open.
Well, this is going to be his spot. Down into turn 6 is where Chris is probably the strongest. That's where he's been passing on the cars. And let's see, Wayne, I'm sure Wayne's going to try and protect this one. And we'll see if Chris can get the job done. He's having a look down the inside. Oh, no, he's not going to get there. So he's now got 1 corner to go, down to turn 7, or he can get on the power and get up the inside.
Marjoram might be able to get a bit of a run on both of them here. He was taking a nice wide entry down at Kolb. The Renko car's up the middle. Marjoram's going to go through with him, but this guy, welcome to Victory Circle. Jesse Dixon, the man they call Hitch. 21 years old, but look for the battle in the background. Here he comes.
We weren't sure what was going to pop out there.
Oh, the teammates hit. And Walton's going to get up to 2nd. Marjoram, can he sneak back up to 3rd? No, nearly. I'll wait to see the result on that one. I think Wakefield just held on for 3rd in that race. What a reverse grid race. Hansford got up in front of Ryle Harris as well. I think, no, just behind him was Sam Barry that got home in front of Ryle Harris. That was a ridiculous race. Jesse Dixon, first win for his career, also the first win for the year for Holden, and he is going to be a very happy man.
Well, Jesse, how sweet is that first victory? Extremely sweet. Motorsport can be a pretty hard road sometimes, and the last couple of years with Hayman Reese, they've sort of picked my career back up, and huge thanks to them, and big thanks to my team, Image Racing, and all my family and friends for all their support over the years, and this day is pretty sweet.
Well, everybody in Uteland's on a bit of a high after what was an incredible race too. The good news, we've still got one more race to go. It's coming up after the break.